I love you all. I know you love me too. So please come to the front. Monya there. One moment. Ladies and gentlemen, this morning, I will cut my job short. I will not be that much talkative. My sister, Mrs. Naomi Atafin, will do all the talking. So do it for her, please. We know why we are here, but we should be told. But Ima Mekai, Opain be a baby call. Opain no Oshia Equekubi, on one zin como. Odu Kufu Frodon. Also, you tag them in one. Now, Garuazi were Hanum. Ladies and gentlemen, time for us to listen to the purpose why Gawa President Felix Edubuku has brought us here. Mr. President.
Gawa. 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 Okay, you see, we have to rehearse it again. Gawa, great achievers. Gawa, great achievers. Gawa, great achievers uniting to advance. Thank you very much. The registrar, Mr. Gideon Abekwe Esquire, our honorable chairman for the occasion, our distinguished guest speaker, Dr. Cynthia Senna Peglo, Executive Secretary, VCG, directors here in present, deputy registrars, president and chairman of sister unions, colleague Gawa executive senators, senior administrators from sister universities, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning. On behalf of Gawa UCC, I want to warmly welcome you to Ed Hotel, where this morning we are going to have our CPD 2025. If you could all remember last year, we were at Red Royal Hotel. Surprisingly, an episode that happened last year happened this morning. It rained to the extent that, unfortunately, our chairman for the planning committee had an accident by falling into a mud. And he took a picture and sent it to us. God being so good, it rained this morning. But we thank God that our chairman is here without any form of accident. When we gathered at Red Royal, we delved deep into the nuances of corporate good governance and ethical behavior. The question arises about how we can engage in ethical behavior and good corporate governance without strengthening stakeholder engagement. That is why this morning, personally, I find this topic or this theme for our gathering here timely. As you all know, university administration has taken a major shift. This could be seen from how even our regulatory bodies are undertaking their activities. We need not to forget about the fact that now funding is no more coming as it used to be. We all know the challenges in terms of technology and the fact that we have more students and we don't have much more accommodation for all of them. All these challenges culminate to the fact that we as administrators must move from our relaxed offices and be at the forefront to champion quality, to champion reputation management, and to make sure that students have access and good quality education. Peter Drucker once said, the most important thing in communication is hearing what isn't said. Stakeholder engagement demands exactly that. And for that matter, today I hope we are all going to listen deeply, anticipate concerns as we learn from here, respond to individual challenges with empathy and make sure that we collaborate for sustainable development. Distinguished participants, today we are going to be equipped with knowledge and skills in the following areas, which we all know. I think as part of the promotion, one of our key speakers helped us with some form of AI engagement on the posters we created. Today we are going to learn some more about that. So we are going to listen to artificial intelligence and its impact on administration and stakeholder engagement, legalities in administration and stakeholder engagement, the role of personal well-being in sustaining professional stakeholder engagement, and also stakeholder engagement in retirement planning, which most of the times when we are young, until we get to about 55, we start thinking about it. But I think now it has changed, so we need to learn about that. We are privileged to have experienced resource persons to lead these sessions, and I want to encourage all of us to participate fully and contribute to the seminar. Permit me to express my profound appreciation to the university management for their support. This year, the university management helped Gawa to host the entire Gawa National here at Ed Hotel, and the cost was borne by management. Let's put our hands together for management. And almost every time when we go in for permission to travel, to organize programs, even the permission could go a day, the very day that we are leaving, still our registrar graciously grant us the permission. Let's do it for him. We want to also thank our guest speaker for graciously accepting to help us with our theme. All our speakers, we thank you for accepting to help us acquire the skills as mentioned this morning. Our sponsors, UCC Credit Union, last year they sponsored, and this year they have sponsored. Let's put our hands together for them. Institute of Education, University of Cape Coast. We are here. This is Ed Hotel. And I must say that everything that we are going to do here, apart from the snacks, the space that we are using is free. But I'm not saying that go and ask them to give you for free. When you come, they will take money. We thank Institute of Education. Colleagues, the credibility of university administration is built on one process, one interaction, and one decision at a time. We consistently get the how right. The what will also be right when we cooperate and interact meaningfully. On this note, I don't want to say by the authority, in the service of Gawa, I want to once again welcome you and declare the 2025 CPD seminar duly open. Thank you and have a productive time.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I thought you could do it better than that. Good morning once again. And thank you, Mr. President, for telling us why we have moved from our various offices, gathered here, and the reason why we are here. And I believe we have all braced ourselves up to listen, and then after listening, we are going to use it to work. Even though the chairman for the occasion has been mentioned in person, would want one of our own to come and properly introduce who he is and then what he has for us. So, Mrs. Joanna Kinola, please, if you are here, come and introduce our chair for us.
Good morning. Distinguished colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, Our chairman for this morning is a man who wears many hats. Every one of them fits perfectly. He speaks the language of law with confidence, the logic of economics with precision, and the rhythm of technology with ease. For over 27 years, he has served the University of Cape Coast with unmatched dedication, intelligence, and a touch of innovation that keeps systems and people running smoothly. When the University of Cape Coast needed an efficient way to manage students' records, he was among the brains behind the UCC online information system, a system that not only transformed the operations, but also saved the university thousands of dollars each year. That's what happens when brilliancy meets wisdom. He holds a degree in law, economics, and management information system, a diploma in education, and he has received professional leadership training from the University at Buffalo in the United States. Truly a man of many disciplines and one purpose, and that is excellence. Beyond his impressive resume, he has represented the university and Ghana at international conferences, served on countless boards and committees, and continued to inspire many in higher education leadership. Off records, he is a family man, happily married to Gladys and blessed with 3 amazing children, Neyin, Shira, and Ayeyi, his greatest pride and joy. So, ladies and gentlemen, with your kind permission, let's warmly welcome a visionary leader, a consummate administrator, and a current registrar of the University of Cape Coast, in the person of Mr. Gideon Enoch Abekwe Esquire. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Joanna. Distinguished guest speaker, Dr. Cynthia Senna Peglo Freku, Executive Secretary of the VCG, President of Gawa UCC, Mr. Felix Edupoku, my fellow administrators, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is both a profound honor and a genuine pleasure to welcome you all to the Gawa CPD Seminar 2025. I want to express our gratitude to our guest speaker, Dr. Senna Peglo Freku, for taking time from her demanding schedule to share her invaluable insights with us today. Today's theme, enhancing stakeholder engagement in higher education management, the role of a university administrator, transcends academic discussion. It is a crucial strategy for our collective future. As administrators, we stand at the intersection of policy and practice. Every day, we make decisions that affect staff, students, and the integrity of our institutions. To do this effectively, we must continually update our knowledge and strengthen our capacity. And this seminar provides the perfect platform for that. As we strive to position the University of Cape Coast as a globally acclaimed institution, we must remember that our success is built not only on research and teaching, but also on the strength of relationships with our stakeholders. The university is not an isolated entity. Our students, alumni, industry leaders, and local community are essential partners in our mission. For us as university administrators, this seminar redefines our role in the modern academic landscape. We are no longer just support staff. We are strategic enablers. We have the responsibility to translate high-level council policies into operational excellence and engaging all stakeholders effectively. Successful stakeholder engagement requires us to move beyond mere communication to foster genuine collaborative relationships. This involves listening actively to our students' needs to understand and enhance their experiences, responding transparently to the expectations of regulatory bodies, and building trust with our faculty and staff to cultivate a dedicated workforce. Today's CPD session is an opportunity to refine these essential skills, share best practices, and collaboratively rethink how we can elevate our engagement strategies, enhancing the management and reputation of our institutions. The topics remind us that the work of administrators is not only about processes and paperwork, but about people, ethics, and adaptation. We operate in a world that is becoming more complex, more digital, and more demanding. Therefore, the modern administrator must be legally aware, technologically alert, health conscious, and stakeholder-oriented. I am confident that by the end of this seminar, we will leave better informed, more inspired, and ready to contribute even more effectively to our university. Let me, on behalf of all present, thank our resource persons for making time to share their expertise with us, and to the organizers for putting this excellent program together. I am confident that today's discussions will empower us to strengthen these critical connections, ensuring that UCC continues its journey of excellence. On that note, I accept to chair this occasion. Thank you once again for your presence and dedication to our university's vision. I wish you all fruitful deliberations and a rewarding experience. Thank you very much.
Please do it better for R. In his presentation, getting to the end, he mentioned a word, he said expertise. And a friend of mine some time past, when he saw that word, he found it difficult to pronounce it. Instead of asking for the right pronunciation, he struggled and he said, expertise. So with my expertise, I humbly invite Uriel Luchu and a friend to give us a musical interlude, and we'll come back and continue. Shall we welcome Uriel Luchu? Please do it for Uriel. Good morning. How are you? Yes, I can see. And this morning I know you are going to give us something sumptuous. Once again, we are here to listen to you.
Thank you.
Sometimes in our lives, we all have been voices in the crowd, 'cause we all make mistakes. You might fall on your face, but you better get up. I'd rather stand tall than live on my knees, 'cause I am a conqueror and I don't accept defeat. Try telling me no. One thing about me is I am a conqueror, and I am a conqueror. I'd rather stand tall than live on my knees, 'cause I am a conqueror and I don't accept defeat. Try telling me no. One thing about me is I am a conqueror. I am a conqueror. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We are all conquerors. Now we would call on Ms. Joanna Akinola to introduce our guest speaker for today's occasion.
Our guest speaker today is our very own. She is a distinguished academic administrator with extensive experience in educational leadership. Currently, she is the Executive Secretary, Vice Chancellor, Ghana. Just recently, she completed her tenure as a Registrar for University of Health and Allied Sciences. Madam was with us, and while she was with us, she was a college registrar of the College of Education Studies. She has a PhD in educational leadership, and this is from University of Cape Coast. She has a BA Economics, a professional affiliation to Chartered Institute of Administrators and Management, CIAMC, a member of Institute of Directors, Ghana. A notable appointments includes the Council Chair, Akachi College of Education, Chair, Membership and Continuing Professional Development Committee, CIMC. She is an expert in educational leadership, administration, management, consultancy, and policy development. Dr. Akpaburo has published numerous academic papers, attended international conferences, showcasing her expertise in her field. She is known for addressing concerns on education, including the impact of strike on academic calendar and student engagement. Madam is happily married with children. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me welcome Dr. Cynthia Sena Beglo. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Akinola. I trust that all of us know that she is currently the Executive Secretary for VCG. Shall we do it for her once again?
Thank you very much. Good morning, distinguished colleagues, esteemed organizers, and fellow professionals in higher education. When I said good morning, I didn't hear any response. I slept well. I hope it's because you did not sleep well. I did sleep well. I want to thank you. Let me acknowledge the chair, registrar of the university. I want to thank you for the big honor you have done me to be invited as the guest speaker for this continuing education program. I think anytime you have a guest speaker or a keynote speaker, you are more inclined to the reading mode coming to stand here. But I was trained in the University of Cape Coast, so you don't expect the reading. I have to show you my skills in teaching so that you know that I really passed through here. But as registrar over the years, I've realized that when we read, you listen, but you probably do not hear as much as we want you to hear. And we have learned that the presentation mode, the pictures, all these are ways by which I can capture your attention for the next 25 minutes. Hallelujah. I thank you once again. Thank you, President, and the team, the GAWA team. This is a good thing. This is a very good thing. It's marvelous in our sight. The CPD programs is what is gingering us and giving us capacity and making us to be known and seen out there. So I always am happy to be a part of this. And I want to stress that this morning's topic, your theme for the CPD program, it's a very relevant and strategic one. I didn't say strategic, I said strategic, okay? We have known that we perform, we are the functional people. We make things happen, we do things, we take action. And for that reason, it's very important for us to be seen as doing what we say we are capable of doing. We know that universities do not operate in isolation. They exist within complex ecosystems of expectations, partnership, and regulations. So the real strength of any university lies not in its academic relevance, but also in how effectively it engages its stakeholders. That was my understanding of the topic. I wish I had heard a little bit about the ethical bit. I would also have incorporated it, but I know that we can do that another time. Forgive me for not wearing my GAWA apparel. Those of you who knew me before knew I was size 24. Now I'm size 16. So I can't get a tailor to do the alterations for me. And I can also get the GAWA cloth. So what I really need now is a blazer, actually, to be putting on my... So thank you for understanding. It's not because I'm executive secretary, I'm no longer wearing the GAWA cloth. In fact, UTAG is accusing me of being a member of GAWA, for which reason some of the meetings, they are dodgy about situations. So please bear with me. I'm here, right? I'm a full member. I'm here. And I'll continue to fight for our interest. Please don't tell them I said that. One of them is here. Ish. Thank you very much. That's on a lighter note. I'm executive secretary, so I'm supposed to be everywhere. All right. Thank you so much. So I will speak as well as let you go through the slides just for the preservation of the knowledge that I want you to have. So we are saying that higher education is increasingly complex and stakeholder driven. Higher education is changing. It's becoming more complex over and over, and it's rapidly changing in terms of governance, in terms of funding, in terms of students' expectations. In the aspect of technology, we are changing our mode of teaching, our mode of work. We can now work home. We can now teach online. And also, we are expected to give a public accountability. The public is expecting more of us. And so we have had to shift the way we operate. We are not doing business as usual. We have had to shift the way we operate. And we are saying that administrators are at the center of the stakeholder coordination. It means that everything that needs to be done, the implementation process, is the administrator. But then also the administrator deals in the midst of what we call the stakeholders. So the administrator is more or less serving as a bridge between the stakeholders and the institutional management process. So stakeholder engagement is not a department, it's a culture that we must continue to to do over the time. It must become a culture of the university. When we say that this is university culture, stakeholder engagement must be part of it. So the stakeholders are the people and institutions who support, trust, and collaboration sustain the university. So my presentation this morning is going to explore how administrators can play a proactive role in managing these relationships, moving from gatekeepers, what we call gatekeepers of information. You are guarding the information. It's confidential. You don't want to get people to know or have access to it because it's confidential. So we are preaching for us to move from gatekeepers of information to facilitators of engagement and agents of institutional trust. Are you with me? All right. So let's take a quick look, identify who our stakeholders are. I think you know these already. Internally, we are talking about students. Who else? Academic staff. And who? Most importantly, the unions and then the governing council. Those are our internal stakeholders. So academic staff, non-academic staff, governing councils, unions are our stakeholders. Our external partners, external stakeholders, of course, are the parents, alumni, employers, industry partners, very key external partners, regulatory bodies like GTEC, for you, the other professionals, we're talking about the dental and medical and dental council, ICA, what else do you have? ACCA, ICA, CIA. What else do you have? IPR for the public relations people, and then for the architects and engineers, they also have theirs. So we're talking about donors, and then the community are a major part of our external stakeholders. And now, whether you like it or not, the media have become an important key stakeholder in the things in our university system, because every information passes through them, and they choose to deal with the information as how they fit. And that's why they have become a major component when we talk about stakeholders. Now, what is very critical about this to note is that each of these stakeholders has unique expectations and levels of influence. And that is where the challenge is. So our task as administrators is to understand their interest. We need to understand their interest. What is the council's interest? This particular new group of council members that have been put together, government appointees plus our own internal members on the council. What are they interested in? What are their unique expectations? And then what is their level of influence? If you miss this, you are in trouble. We need to find out how much influence they have on our activities and then the expectation they have on us. So our task is to understand these interests, manage their expectations, and build the bridges of cooperation. So it's not just enough to know who the stakeholders are. We need to know their level of influence. We need to know what their unique expectations are. And our job is to try to manage their expectations, bridge the gaps in accordance to the processes of the institution. Are you with me? I almost said, are you with me, class? So, and one of the things, so as you want to experience who they are, know their level of influence, know their unique expectations, what you are doing invariably is that you are mapping. We call it stakeholder mapping. Have you heard that before? You are mapping. It means you are putting them in clusters and in groups according to their unique expectations, according to their level of influence, and according, in the US, according to their ability, the amount of resources they can attract into the university. Because in other jurisdictions, the board of trustees or the council are actually the ones who are responsible for bringing in resources for the institution. They are not supposed to come and you give them all that sitting allowance you give to them. So we need to map. Administrators' task is to do a stakeholder mapping. So the mapping says that we are identifying who they are, what they value, and how best we can engage them to bring their best resources on board. So that is the first step of effective management as a university administrator. I want to talk about the concept of the stakeholder engagement. You see, there are 4 key levels of engagement. So we've mapped them. We know where they are. But this is I said strategic. It's ongoing. So this is the point where you are involving them who are affected, who can affect our decisions. So you are involving them in key 4 levels of engagement. So the concept of stakeholder engagement definition, as is on the slide, it says that it is a strategic process of involving individuals or groups who can affect, that's number 1, who can affect or are affected by university decisions to improve understanding, trust, and collaboration. So 2 keywords that we have there, 3 keywords that we have there is that the purpose of stakeholder engagement is to improve understanding, trust, and establish the perfect collaboration that we need among the stakeholders. Now, we engage them on 4 key levels. We engage all our key stakeholders on 4 main levels. 1 is to inform. We are sharing information. We are giving them information. This is a one-way communication. The university is about to change a curriculum, or the university is about to embark on a program that may affect the local communities, Apio, Sika, Amamuma, and so on. And so we meet with the traditional, the leaders and the community, and we give them the information. That is informing them. The next one is to consult. This is where we listen and collect feedback. This time it's a 2-way affair. We are jojoing. I'm going to ask you, I want to do this. What do you think about it? How do you think that the consequence of it or the implication of the action I'm taking will affect you in this way? If it affects you in that way, how can we help to mitigate whatever negative consequences that our activities are going to have on you? So it's a 2-way feedback. This time we are going for where we listen and then we collect feedback. The next one is we collaborate. This time we are co-designing. We are partners. We are joining to plan. We are joining to organize. And then we are joining to either control and have the implementation done. So at this time, we co-design the solution. And take your mind to the industry. For instance, we want to know how our students, what the courses we are offering the University of Cape Coast, be social science, economics, business admin in the School of Business, how it's impacting directly on industry, or how does industry view the people, what's their perception about the students we throw out to them. And if there are issues, then we sit down around the table, we collaborate on how to redesign some aspects of our curriculum so that it will be useful for them. The last one is the 4th engagement, what we do. The dimension of engagement is what we call the empowerment. This time, it's a shared decision-making and ownership. So here, our stakeholders become co-owners of the outcomes. They are co-owners. Once they took part in the process of planning, in the process of implementation, now every result we get, we co-own it as a people. So the goal is to move from merely informing to, at this point, the goal is to move from merely informing to truly empowering. That's when engagement becomes transformational rather than transactional. Transactional is that I have this product, I want to sell it to you. You don't have any say in it. It's a transaction. That's transactional leadership. That's the way you can also interpret it. But transformational is that I have engaged you, we have determined an outcome, and this is the result of it. And so we are all partakers in that process. Are we getting it? All right. Now, why are we even talking about this? Why is this relevant? Why are we talking about stakeholder engagement? Why is it an administration business? It's because it promotes transparency and accountability. Effective stakeholder engagement brings tangible benefits. It builds trust and transparency. As I engage with you, I can read your mind. I can understand the process you are making. You've told me the challenges associated with the process. And so I know the outcome. Even if it is negative, I know that you have discussed. There's no hidden agenda, right? I know that this is the outcome. So we are building trust and we are building transparency. And that's where the issue of ethics then can come in. Because I'm engaging you, you know every plan that I have. There's no hidden charges anywhere for you to encounter at the end, and then you say that, oh, you didn't tell me this from the beginning. So it brings trust, transparency, and trust and transparency builds your reputation. It builds institutional reputation, and therefore we say that you are compliant in the eyes of the public. The public understands you. They know what you stand for and what you can do. We can also say that I've talked about institutional reputation and credibility. Actually, students are more satisfied, students and staff are more satisfied when they understand. When they understand. When you have had discussions with them and they understand the situation. It's also, support resource mobilization. Every external linkage or partnership we have as registrar, every external partnership, and they want to see elements of credibility. And these are some ways, indicators of credibility. And so we say that it supports resource mobilization and partnership. It also strengthens policy compliance and regulatory harmony. Staff understand, students understand, we've had engagement, the community understand. And so when we draw up a policy, we are all certain of the outcome of the policy. And we all trust that it will work. We can also say that it encourages innovation and responsiveness to societal needs. When stakeholders feel valued and involved, they become advocates of the institution. So sometimes you may not have to say anything at all. The people who have built trust in you, build trust in the things that you do, will be the ones marketing you out there. Are you getting it? Your alumni trust the process. Your students trust the process. So they will go out there and they will sell it out. In the University of Health and Allied Sciences, one time it was our drivers who were marketing the university. When you see the University of Health and Allied Sciences logo on the pickup, and people come to them, come and see these drivers, convincing the local, in their broken English, trying to tell them that, come to Ho. You understand, because they understand the vision, they understand what the institution is standing for. Are you with me? So, universities that engage well are better able to withstand crisis and attract partnerships and maintain a positive public image. Let's look at some common challenges. Engagement is not always easy. Engagement is not easy. If you have UTAG, that is headstrong. You have GAWA, that is headstrong. You have community people who also think that they have a stake in the university. You meet at a round table and there are no blows within the next 5 minutes, then it means that Holy Spirit was at work. Are you getting it? So engagement is not always easy, especially when you encounter entrenched government appointees. Okay? Entrenched government appointees. And entrenched community elders and entrenched council members who have as they come, they are set on a certain agenda. If you encounter them in that way, then decision making is very challenging. Engaging them is very challenging. So there's also a weak communication. There can be a weak communication channel. When there's a weak communication channel, engagement is not always possible because we are not speaking the same language and we are not hearing the same thing. The English is translated differently according to our agenda and our perception, and for which we are sitting there. Stakeholder engagement can also be a challenge in terms of over-centralization of decisions. When you have one person that isn't very willing to listen to other opposing opinions in order to arrive at a certain decision, that can be challenging because we are all entrenched in the way we want to do things. Poor feedback mechanism. Once the communication is not landing properly, the feedback will automatically also not be proper. Feedback, the response I'm getting from you will not be, because we haven't really decided on the same thing. We are still on different tangents, and so the feedback we are going to get will be in different directions. I've mentioned conflicting stakeholder interests, especially regarding the council, government appointees, internal members, and so on. There's also one of the challenges is the lack of clear engagement frameworks. And when we talk about I'll explain that further. When we talk about the lack of clear engagement framework, it means we have not put on paper, we have not decided how we want the engagement process to be. Once there's no clear framework, we are doing everything haphazardly. So it means that we can't have a clear way of knowing what to do. So it becomes quite a problem for us to say we are engaging stakeholder effectively. And also when there's limited administrative capacity or training. If we sitting here as administrators, if we have not been trained in, or we don't have the tools to manage the engagement process effectively, it can lead to mistrust, low morale, and resistance to change. For example, I wanted to use some example, but I'm very careful the example I want to use in the University of Cape Coast now. Are you getting it? I'm very careful. I want to leave. I'm still a staff here, you know. My salary is still coming from UCC, so I have to be careful in the. So, but bottom line is that people will stop engaging with you. You can't engage people effectively if they know that you who is sitting and engaging with me, you lack the tool, you lack the ability, you lack the capacity to engage me. Are you getting it? So the solutions begins with a deliberate strategy, not reacting to issues, but we need to create systems for continuous engagement. That's why I mentioned the lack of framework. So after this session, I'm hoping that there will be an opportunity for us to build what we call the stakeholder engagement framework. So GAWA must lead that process, stakeholder engagement. We know the stakeholders, the community, we know how we want to engage them, we want to know how to engage the government appointees on council, we want to know how to engage our students, we want to know how to engage the unions, etc. There must be a framework which I can assist you to do. So, if we are saying that these are the challenges, I've explained to you what stakeholder engagement is and so on, and what are the challenges. Let's now look at the role of the administrator. So at this point, if assuming we have the framework and we are utilizing it effectively, then our major role is what we call the connectors. Those the electricians who are here, you know that you are the connector. You are the connector between the institutional process and then that particular stakeholder engagement. If you are a connector, then what are you doing? If you are a connector, what are you doing? It means that you are managing information. And we know we do these things already. We just want to put it into perspective in terms of engaging stakeholders. So we ensure timely, accurate communication across departments. When we attend the meetings, we service all the meetings. We are the secretary to the meetings. As we service the meetings, every information that is supposed to go out there, it is we who put it on paper and extend it. So we give, and when we talk about the accurate communication across departments, something came into my mind. I'm council chair of College of Education, and before I came in, I was told that the secretary to the council had the tendency of twisting the information, the decisions, and so the president, the principal said, I always have to look at the decision before it goes out. So that's how powerful we are. We have ability to change the decisions slightly just by a change of article there or and we have twisted it. You know, that's the power that we hold. Please don't use it. Please don't use that power. Even in the rendition of minutes, I will, if I want to be mischievous, I can render the minutes according to the way it will be easy for me to implement it. Are you getting it? Somebody said, I'm sure they have been doing it. So it's a skill you have to master. You have to master it positively, and it will work for you. So it means that we ensure accurate and timely communication. So UCC is locking the gate at 9 a.m. Does the communities within the UCC environment know that you lock the gate at 9 a.m.? If that information does not go, then the communities will be up in arms with you. Are you getting it? All right. We are also facilitators of collaboration. We create the dialogue between the departments and the stakeholders. So we sustain the dialogue. We write to remind you, this decision was taken 2 months ago. How am I doing on time? This decision was taken 2 months ago. I want to write to remind you of this decision. Or you send a WhatsApp message and say, this is a gentle reminder of the decision we took, and I hope that your committee is working on it. We are also policy implementers. Remember I said we translate decisions into daily practice. We do the legwork. We do the actual activity. We are also conflict managers. We mediate competing interests. We mediate interests among the diverse group. SRC wants to do this, or Tvucc says this. Tvucc now has SSOG, right? So if you are unlucky and you have the two groups on your campus, then you have to be mediating all the time, right? And I hear Tvucc also has another one. Okay. So we are also custodians of institutional memory. This one you know already. That is why we keep longer on the job. We keep longer on the job. You are expected to remember, since you entered as a junior assistant registrar, how we have done this particular thing. What are the changes that have come in between them? The statutes from the time it was set up to the time of review to the time of the current one. What changes have we made? Why we made those changes, and whether they are working for us or not. We're also the change agents. We drive innovation and inclusivity. We drive every change. All the impact papers that you have been writing for promotion, all the things you observe and what do you call them? Proposals, position papers, content papers. All these are the things that are driving innovation and change. These days, when I'm assessing documents, I'm very impressed about the kind of things that people are observing, administrators are observing, and calling out or asking that you modify it this way or you change it this way. But then when you finish, actually, you know it doesn't become your property again. The VC says in his closing remarks at congregation that we did this without any acknowledgement to the people who did it. But that is the bane of your job. That's the bane of your job. I'm only confident that you have gained promotion as a result of that particular paper. I want to rush through quickly because I think I have just a few minutes now. Let's look at the practical strategies for enhancing stakeholder engagement. I've talked about the developing a stakeholder engagement framework already. I've talked about strengthening communication systems, building trust. Let me take you through this one rather. So when we say develop a stakeholder engagement framework, we are talking about the ability to identify the key stakeholder categories, their needs, define the engagement methods, and then assign responsibility and performance indicators. So we are mapping their influence, as we have said already, and we are assigning responsibility for managing each of these relationships. When we say strengthening communication system, this time we are asking you to use the digital tools available to you. The social media. Social media. Now we use social media for everything. We use social media. I see UCC present on Facebook all the time, and that gives me the information I need. And the website is running accurately, Mr. Registrar. The website is running accurately. My VCG website is linked to your website directly, so anybody who comes onto my VCG website can go automatically to your website if you give me the information that you want me to give out there. We also can do better on our Twitter and all the other, and that is where we pass on the information and engage our stakeholders. We also build institutional trust when we follow through on commitment and we are consistent. and fair. These are keywords that we need to get. We are consistent. Consistency is key. We don't do this today and then tomorrow we change the game plan and people are really not sure what it is that we are doing. So it's important for us to build institutional trust. And then when the next one we can talk about is to encourage participatory governance and decision making. We always say 2 heads are better than one. Not 2 nonsense heads, but 2 good heads. 2 very, very good heads that are sitting by the table and are able to come to a decision. Sorry, yo. So this is when we say participatory, it means that we are including staff and students on the committee, and we are consulting. We are consulting each group. If you ask me to do a reference letter for you, one of the things I always want to put in your letter, your reference letter as an administrator, is to say that you consult. You are able to consult. Anybody who consults means that the person is responsive to feedback and is able to use it appropriately to enhance your own self, your processes, and the way you do work. Are we getting it? Yeah. So it's something that you should also make sure you find it in your CV under your characteristics. I'm able to consult. I'm able to receive information, and I'm able to make use of that information for my job processes. Then the employer who is searching knows that you are accessible and you are teachable. Are you getting it? You are teachable and you have the ability to unlearn old things and learn the new ones. We also need to build capacity for administrators. These are practical strategies. That's why we are sitting here, right? That's why we are sitting here. Ability to build capacity, ongoing training in communication, ongoing training in negotiation, ongoing training in just PowerPoint presentation, so that you need to go and sell an idea as an administrator to an employer or prospective stakeholder. If I give you 3 minutes, how can you elaborate the points that you have in your head? How can you gesticulate and catch the person's attention? Are you getting it? How do I even dress up to be able to catch your attention as I'm catching your attention now? Right. So I wanted us to go through a case example, but the case example would have been the University of Cape Coast. And so I am conveniently going to avoid this slide and go to the next one. So let me just generalize it. The stakeholder engagement policy. So for example, you want to launch a stakeholder. I understand you have a community something policy already, or it's in the system. Maybe it's finding its way to the final implementation process. So this is an example. A university launched a stakeholder engagement policy. What we do normally, a perfect process will be to have a town hall quarterly meeting, meet with the stakeholders, the students. We don't want to meet everybody together. We can meet with the SRC, we can meet with the unions, and then we can meet with the community and so on. And then we create a board, an implementation committee or an advisory committee to look at the matters that we have arrived at. Then we partner with alumni to do fundraising and mentoring. And then the result is that we have improved student satisfaction, we have the trust, and we have the employability outcome. So this is a make-believe of what I mean by stakeholder engagement and how we can arrive at the results that we want to show. So it shows that there is intentional, that's the word I want to use, there's intentional engagement. There's an intentional engagement, and that will definitely produce measurable benefits. We need to have the capacity to measure the stakeholder engagement as we progress. We need to look for the tool. The tool that is everybody knows to use is what we call the periodic stakeholder perception survey. In that case, what are the things that will go into this periodic stakeholder perception surveys? So the indicators will be, for example, to look at participation levels in institutional activities. We want to look at how people are participating in our meetings or activities when we call them. If people are not coming for the meetings, well, we need to find out what is making them not come. What innovative ways should we make participation much more general, and so on. one time in a secondary school, the principal or the headmaster found that staff were not coming for early morning meetings on Monday, so he decided that the kitchen will serve hot cocoa and bread. And just the service of the hot cocoa and bread, by 7 o'clock, everybody is sitting in the. So that is how come we came with the snacks and the small chops. So if the registrar is aiming to cancel the snacks and the small chops, let him know. Let him know that this is one innovative way of making sure that people can come, leave their lunch breaks, and come for a meeting. I've never been. I resisted that in UHAS because my VC kept saying, "Oh, we are just starting. We don't have money for snacks." And meanwhile, we're not giving sitting allowance, and you want to cancel the small pie and the drinks they will drink. I insisted on it. So these are also just to ensure that people attend the meetings to hear what you're going to say. Then the quality of the stakeholder feedback. We want to ensure that the feedback response time comes on time and is satisfactory. We also want to look at the number and quality of the partners. Sometimes if you do too much partnerships, you waste resources, but you don't get the result that you want. You may want to just keep your partners in smaller quantities or in groups so that you see if you think you have need to expand, then you expand. And then one of the indicators also is the improvement in institutional rankings and reputation, which UCC has no problem with. Oh, are you not clapping? UCC has no problem with that. So these are the periodic stakeholder engagement. One other thing I wanted to talk about was the future of the stakeholder engagement. Stakeholder engagement, that's why I said this topic is very critical. Stakeholder engagement is the future for administration because there is increased demand for accountability and data-driven management. If you are going to GTech or get fund to source for additional resources for your project and so on, they want basic statistics. How many students you've been able to graduate, how many came out with first classes and so on. Industry is also needing to get this. And we also talk about tracer studies, something which I think a lot of our institutions are not doing. By now, you should set in place a study to find out how your students and your medical students are faring in the field, how your BEd education management students are faring in the classrooms, and so on. And that is a huge activity, but we need to start from. And how University of Cape Coast nurses are behaving in the wards. Are you getting it? So we need these tracer studies with which to improve putting in additional ethical whatever within the nursing curriculum. A nurse one told me that I was taught to take care of a nurse, but I was not taught to be a human being in the ward. Are you get? Yes, that's what the nurse told me. Says I was taught to fix a drip, put in a catheter, all this, but I was not taught how to be a human being in the ward. And this is a loaded comment. This is a loaded comment. So the modern, and then remember that we said everything is technologically driven now. I'm happy there's going to be something on AI. We know AI chatbots, dashboards, social media. When I had to do this presentation, it didn't take me more than 15 minutes to get the information I wanted. I just said that, dear AI, yours truly has been asked to come and do a presentation as guest speaker on this topic. Can you help? Said, yes, certainly, I can help. 15 minutes. But what you have to be careful about is that AI can give you all the nonsense you want. So the work you have to do is your ability to sit down, put in your own statistics and so on. I've had a proposal from a vice chancellor. Please don't say this. A vice chancellor. The proposal said, one sentence said, is this okay? Do you want me to still put this in another form? I said, I was shy for him. So AI has the tendency to give you everything you want. Even if you say, tell me how to kill my husband. My husband is not treating me well. Give me methods of killing my husband without anybody knowing. It will tell you that, I'm not sure you want to do that, but anyway, if you want to do it, these are the methods. You understand? So what I'm saying, bottom line is that the modern administrator must be technologically savvy. You must be socially sensitive, and you must be strategically minded. And so we need you to do, these are the core competencies that I need all of us to have right now. You must be a strategic thinker. You must think. I mean, think beyond what you are seeing. Project into, ask Holy Spirit to give you the spirit of discernment. Project into the next 3 years. The way things are happening around me, this is what we are projecting. So be a strategic thinker. You are fast forward. You are forward. A step forward than the university management in totality. So we've talked about digital literacy, your ability to be able to do the soft ones by now. Put together a PowerPoint presentation with the aesthetics and the animation and everything by now. This is, know which fonts work better for your eyes at this time of the day or the audience and so on. If I was presenting to smaller kids, I'll probably use a different font that will make it more catchy to them, the colors to use and so on, so that you don't overpower people. So we are in a time of digital literacy, and this makes you ahead of the other people. And the new future, the modern administrator must be emotionally intelligent. My father will say, let your mawadri like, you should, emotional intelligence means I know my own emotions. This morning I didn't wake up well. Maybe my wife beat me last night, so I'm angry. I couldn't beat her back because she's thicker and taller than me. And so the tendency for you to transfer that aggression on somebody in your office is very high. So emotional intelligence means that I recognize that I am very annoyed, and therefore I won't schedule any meeting for this, or I will not encounter this personality. I will try to do that's emotionally intelligent and knowing the emotions of your own people. We also need to deliberately, intentionally learn negotiation and diplomacy skills. We intentionally need to learn negotiation skills and how to be diplomatic about the way we present things to our stakeholders for them to receive it well. When we're talking about meeting people, that's a whole thing, topic for discussion, how to modulate your voice, how to smile, at what point to smile, how to, your body, and so on, so that people will pay attention to you and know that you really know. I think you are seeing me doing that already, right? As I'm speaking about this, I'm doing that already. So adaptability and innovation. At this time, if you're an administrator and you say, this is the way we've been doing things, then please leave that office. We have never been doing things the way it has been since 1962. We have changed. We have changed our attitude. We have changed the way we do things. We have become more human inclined. We are no longer treating students as our whatever. Students are our clients. They are receiving the best treatment here and there, because the next time you go to the airport, he will be the customs officer there. Are you getting it? Yes. So we need to adapt. The future administrator is not a gatekeeper anymore. You are not holding things to your chest. You are now sharing information. You are a bridge. You are a bridge to the builder. You are now sharing information. You are developing and harnessing the leadership of others, making sure that they develop as much as you have developed. Are you getting it? And that has been one of my passions. So call to action. Call to action. Shall we all read it together? The first one is what? The next one is what? Great. The next one is what? Gone are the days when we used to sit in our offices and write the paper because I won the promotion. These days we encourage that you partner with two people, because I said that two good heads are always better than one. one, right? So you are not building silos. The scientists now, if you present a paper to PubMed or to wherever, or Scopus, if there are not 2 or more presenters or researchers or as authors of the presentation, they will ask you to take it back. So it's important. Administrators, don't sit in your office and continue to do proposals alone. Do it together. The last one is what? We need to remember that what? Thank you very much. In conclusion, I will say that I want to challenge every administrator here today. Let's make stakeholder engagement part of our institutional DNA. It's important that we do this and do it excellently. We are excellent people, and it must show in the things that we do. Thank you very much for your time.
Why the GP? Yes, we are very much grateful for this presentation that they are giving us. I trust that we have picked a lot of take-homes. We're going to apply them. We will become better administrators. RJ, please let me do this disclaimer. When I came this morning, Miss Jacinta Martina, my neighbor, Anna saw me. He said, "Bro, when you mean I'm fine." And apparently at the office, a female staff also asked me the same question. But I want to tell you and your colleague female staff that my wife did not beat me last night. She did not beat me, and I know Joy will not beat me. My wife is called Joy, and she gives me joy, and she will not beat me. Very well. No, I don't do that. I didn't see my father see a boy do that. And I promise Madam and all of you that I will not do that. One more thing, ma'am. Having listened to Madam, I believe that we need to get a little bit of breaker. And so if Uriel is here, I invite her once again to come. Right, she stepped out, and I trust that we play from the end. Our technicians will give us a spot of music, and then after which I invite our first 2 discussants to come and give us the presentation. Linda, H.N. Baba, Onu. Approach, Mangasa Montua. Kabna Santifuku, please, we don't want any police matter here. Wow. Mpedemu Bobin is not for no mom. Nanso onye. Arba mnyi no for Philomena. Minim crowd of Philomena. Yeti kasa tentensen, but you breaking the na yesan naba. Na on base na yabese san. Approach. One year munkomenyim. And so we definitely get the spot of music. Having sat down for about a minute or 2, I trust that we can listen to the next segment of talk. We have 2 discussants for us this morning. And to begin the discussions or presentation, I have Ms. Linda Otu, and she's talking to us about impact of AI on effective administration stakeholder engagement, after which Farm Dr. Joseph Arimathea Kizi-Hayford will also come and talk to us about administration health and stakeholder engagement. Don't worry, he's my brother. He's my brother, so he knows I know that name. So don't you worry. He also calls me at times, but that name I don't want. So, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, if you are ready, let's invite our sister Linda to talk to us about AI. Shall we do it for her?
Thank you. Good morning, Chairman. Good morning, esteemed members of GAWA. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I must say a very big thank you to the organizers for deeming it fit to invite me for this discussion. It's been AI for the past 3 years. Everybody is talking about AI. To debunk some kind of assumptions, I would want to break the word and then explain it, then we'll move to the slides. So we're talking about artificial intelligence. That is 2 words. And when we talk about artificial intelligence, it has to do with artificial and then intelligence. Can we understand what artificial means? From there, we move to intelligence. Then I will now talk about the topic. In 15 minutes, I'll be done. All right, so when you talk about artificial, we are told it's from a Latin word that will mean things that are made by humans out of hearts. Okay, so they are artificial. So they are things made by human beings with some kind of intent and purpose. Okay, so we have natural light, we have sunlight, right? Is it artificial or natural? It's natural. Okay, so light works for us. We see light throughout the day. By the time it's 7 p.m., we are no longer likely to see light. So human beings, with the intent of providing light, created artificial light. Is that right? Okay, what is the purpose? So that light will shine for us throughout the night. Is that okay? If I were to be in the classroom, at this point, I'll ask you to also give me one artificial something you know, and then the natural one. Are you going to do that? Is anybody? All right. All right. Thank you very much. Okay, so we have. Okay, so you are talking about fingernails, and then the artificial one. Reverend, please, a minute. Before we move on, why do we have the artificial? Because I told you it is made by human beings, but it has an intent and a purpose. So why do we have it? What is the intent and what is the purpose? This session, I'm told, is interactive. Yes. Okay. Okay. All right. Reverend, you had something to say. Okay.
You can see a lady has something like a
Okay.
when they start sweating.
All right. Thank you for such answers. So we all agree that we have natural things and we have artificial. The purpose for artificial has to do with intent and purpose. Okay, and mind you, it is what's created by human beings. All right, that's established. We move to intelligence. Okay, so when you talk about intelligence, it has to do with learning and trying to draw inferences from existing data to be able to prescribe and create recommendations, generate patterns. So that is all that learning is about. All of us went to school, the doctors, the lawyers, we went to school to study patterns. All of us. You sit down and assess the things you studied. You realize that they were just patterns. So what is a natural blood like when there is no malaria? And when there is a malaria, what changes in the blood? Okay, those of us, all of us, studying all learning structures to conclude with patterns. Okay, so that's established. It will mean that when we're talking about artificial intelligence, we are talking about intelligence that are made by human beings. What is the intent? What is the purpose? When human beings are done with our natural learning and then capabilities and abilities, it assists us. That is the essence. Please, are we okay? All right, so now we have so many AI. Everybody is talking about AI. I'm glad our guest speaker ended by citing some of her promptings to us. When the project came to me, I was contacted by the organizers to organize this lecture. I didn't prompt the AI to send a letter to it. I've been asked to discuss impacts of AI on efficient administration. I didn't do that. This is what I did. I create automations, and I'm going to share some of the outcome with you. I created an automation. So I went to ChatGPT. I told ChatGPT that, yes, I've been asked to talk about this topic. Surf through the internet, worldwide, like everywhere. Surf through, browse everywhere. LinkedIn, Facebook, everywhere, once it's on the internet. And then give me real-time information. And make sure this information, you summarize it to me every 6 p.m. My notification is on my phone. Every 6 p.m. So today I will have it until I stop it. So every 6 p.m. I'll be there, and the notification comes. Okay, this is the latest news on AI. And that is the latest news on AI. And that was the latest. So I got the latest. Just this month, I did AI symposium with the SSC. And then I told them AI is a tool. But today, I'm going to change my mind that AI is no longer a calculator because the news have changed just last night. When we were working somewhere early part of this month, we discussed the fact that in 2017, a country decided to have a minister in charge of AI. Okay. But as I'm speaking to you now, just this September, 9th September, we had AI as a minister, as a prime minister. It's called Diela in Albania. Diela is not a citizen. Diela do not know anybody in Albania. Diela does not have a passport, but Diela is taking decisions for citizens. Why? Because the prime minister thinks when it comes to some kind of immoral things like what procurement departments are likely to do, Diela is going to do justice to that. So it made Diela, a prime minister. And there is a challenge. I have a video to that effect. We don't have that time. But the slides will be made available to you so you can. And just yesterday, I got the news from ChatGPT. And I have the video. I don't know if the time will permit me to play the video for you. But the summary of this has to do with the fact that China has now a full operating hospital with 42 doctors, and they are all AI. And that is it. You know what? They have been able to diagnose over 10,000 diseases in 2 days. And statistics is informing us that the work the AI have been able to do, it will take 2 years for a certain number of doctors to be able to do that. And in 2 days, that is telling us that it's going to change the way things are done. Okay, it's really going to affect the way things are done. So this is happening elsewhere. This is just China. Things are happening elsewhere. As far as we are part of higher education and as administrators, what are we supposed to do? My simple aim here is to create awareness, encourage adoption of some of the AI tools, and then we move on to leadership as far as the discussion of AI is concerned for administrators. Please, am I good to go? Yeah. All right. So now we all know AI. I'm sure a lot of you have used either ChatGPT, Notebook, Helen, several of them. As I'm standing here, when the AI came about 3 years ago, and we were all to use it, the day I was introduced to it, I decided to study it well. So like that night, I did generative AI, and I finished the course. Then by the close of the week, I was done with prompt engineering. I decided to study it because, one, I was afraid You know, when I started life, it has to do with the fact that the people I met in the industry were born before computers. And then the little thing they have to call you. So we were bluffing them. So I was afraid anybody was going to bluff me with the AI too, because now I'm also born before AI, and the need for me to now study it. So I took the time and really studied the whole thing. I saw the need for prompt engineering, which we will talk lightly about that, and then we started, you know, working with it. But along the line, I saw this AI tool as a baby, and the more you engage with the baby is growing, and as the baby grows, you now need to coach the baby, and at a level, you now mentor it. Now, we have various forms of AI. Okay, we have the narrow, the generative, and the super. At the level we are now, just as yesterday information we are at the level we can now coach the AI, but we are all afraid of a future where AI will be on their own, and we may not have anything to do with that. That will be the dangerous part. That level, that's your child is no longer an adolescent. Now that child is an adult. Whatever he or she likes is what it does. That is the level we are all afraid of. But now we can coach the AI. It's like when you gave birth, you'll be like, oh, you give your child something and you say, give it back to me. Then the child gives you. So in the morning, you say, oh, AI, I've been asked by my director to write an email, draft an email for me, and he does it. We are no longer there. We've left that stage. Now AI is not drafting emails. They are the minute things AI can do, right? We are now looking at agentic tools, or what we call automations, okay? So instead of you giving the AI the prompt to draft things for you, you go into automation. So the repetitive task you do with your department, with your faculty and all that, we can now assign them to the AI tools, and they will be doing it for you. We are busy doing so many things at a time. As an administrator, I know we are so busy, but then again, for your promotion, you are required to write papers, attend conferences, get grants for your school or whatsoever. And so if AI can be that assistive and help us in that direction, give that kind of work to the AI, and then you concentrate on the main duties of your work. That is what I want to advise. So what am I talking about? Some of the tools I personally use. So back to the story. When I was studying this AI, I realized that every day we had like 2,000 more chatbots. So from 3 years ago, you can tell the number of chatbots we have now. Now, as I'm standing here, I know over 5,000 chatbots. I can introduce them to you. So all of you can now make this notes or put it down. When you go back, go to this site and you have it. We have the AI Explorer. AI Explorer. Now, this link has over 5,000 Explorer. It's not Explorer. RIA, Explorer. Okay, so EX, okay, EXPLORIA. Okay, so AI Explorer. This link, in fact, Gawa, that is why I'll give it to you. I won't give it to anybody. I'm telling you, I'll be vulnerable to share this with you. So it's just for Gawa, please. We have over 5,000 AI tools there. Trust you me. We have stupid AI there. We have fake. Like, think about it. We have prophet AI there. Like, think about anything. It is there. Being it from writing, drafting, brainstorming, video, and all sort of things. They are all there. They have categories. They have various types, okay? So, and they even have tutorial session. So if you launch to that link, you're going to see the tutorial into ChatGPT, the smart way of dealing with ChatGPT, and they are current, okay? They are all there. So it depends on you and what you want to do. When I'm more perfect, like I'm a perfectionist because of the courses I read, so I know myself. So when the flyer came, I just looked at the flyer. I wanted to examine the flyer to see what could be, I'm a critical person, to see what could be wrong with the flyer. Because I've been on a poster and my student came to me and said, Madam, did you allow your image on that poster? Because the graphics were wrong. So I took it, and here is the case. I wasn't sure which tool I would use. I went to Explorer. I said, I have this picture. I want to examine what is likely to be wrong on the picture. So I uploaded it, and then I saw all the news and the information I needed to have. Then I said, what can we do with this one? I was just being creative before I realized my photograph was talking, and he was talking to me. So I got a new skill. Now I decided to upload certain things and generate certain kind of images and videos for myself. So Explorer is a powerful tool. It has so many things you can draft, you can, so many things you can do with the link. So please, you can go there, you can see the tutorials, how to work with ChatGPT. If you are not sure of how to write a prompt, you can learn how to do the promptings. All sort of things, they are all there. Nobody is left out. Every discipline has a part of AI. So if you are into IT, we are even there more. Cybersecurity issues, how to even generate, even just I think this week, I saw on Telegram, that is also another powerful place I've been learning my AI skills there. That is Telegram. So many materials are there. Some of you are just using it for chatting. I don't chat on Telegram. I'm there because of the materials. So whatever discipline you find yourself, go and search for a channel there. So if yours is in IT, go and look for IT-related channels. Search, you will see material, like millions of materials, practical steps in doing things. Administrators are there, educators, so many things. They are on the Telegram. So for me, I use the OpenAI Mastery channel. I'm there. So that plays to every information that comes as far as AI, chatbots, and all those things are concerned. They are all there. So you can also have that one as well. Now, as administrators, so we've talked about the fact that you could just give the repetitive task to the AI. Every discipline, finance, procurement, everybody has a tool. So maybe in the next workshop, we can really look at the detailed tools for each of the departments and then the skills needed. All right, so that is that for, but when it comes to promotion, paper writing and all that, this is what I have been doing. And it works for me, so I can also share with you. Try it. If it works, let's all talk about that. Okay. So when you have a paper, or you have an academic paper in a certain discipline, or for instance, Dog is somebody who I want to become like her, and then she has a paper in a certain discipline. Just download that paper, or make sure you get that paper. Upload it to ChatGPT. So I've told you, we no longer use ChatGPT as a calculator or a tool, like write on introduction, draft review. No, just upload the paper. When you upload the paper to the chatbot, now draft that, give me the prompt, or you can tell ChatGPT, act as a researcher in this discipline and give me the prompt for this paper. Please, are we get there? So you get the paper. So assuming I'm the expertise you want to copy, or you want to write a paper like my level, okay? Get that paper. Upload that paper to ChatGPT or any of the AI tools. Then draft that, create a prompt, okay? Act as a researcher and write the prompt for this paper, okay? So right now you are not prompting it, so you want the prompt for that paper. When that prompt comes, we can look at the prompt. If it's variables you want to look at, it's location you want to look at, if it's gaps, if it's future work you want to look at, then you give that feed. Okay, so she talked about these variables as far as this discipline is concerned. I want us to, maybe she is in the States, so research was done in the States. So now bring it down to somewhere Kokwado or Kwapro, and then let's look at these variables. You are going to get similar, like world standard paper with good citations, because now it is not working from the head, it's working from the internet. So that repetitive task you would have done by going to search for literature, your automations will be doing all the literature work for you, and then you will be having the luxury of time to do other serious work. You can take a picture of me now. Please, I don't have time. You can take a picture of me now. And then just the picture you will take, upload it to ChatGPT. Tell ChatGPT that, give me the prompt for this picture. Okay, give me the prompt for this picture. And then a prompt will be generated for you. Okay. That prompt, send it to any of the other AI tools, Gemini, AI Studio, whatsoever, and say they should replicate that prompt and then maintain my face. This time, they should change my dress, make me slimmer, or sort of things. And it's going to do it for you. You understand? So we've left that stage where you like, ChatGPT, good morning, please draft a draftibium. This time, ChatGPT is doing the studies on its own. So I would advise we move into that discipline where department faculties are going to look at. You see, the beauty of all these ChatGPT is this, or the generative AI, is that we can reproduce them. That is why in no time we are having a lot of them. My mom will always tell me, after learning how to play the organ, what do you do? What do you do? Okay, so after learning how to play any instrument, like the organ, and now you can sing all the beautiful songs, you compose your own. Okay, so in my discipline, if I'm to do all this teaching, and at the end of the day, I cannot be taught in any school, it means my impact was not that efficient or effective. That is what I want to leave with. So as a university, we are leading the discussion in the discipline. So we should be ready to create our own chatbot for the university where we can ask questions, or ChatGPT or the university chatbot can assist the university environment and people. Can we have a chatbot for admissions where the calls that comes to individuals and share fake news will be avoided? So the chatbots will be answering to some of the questions we are likely to ask. Can we have an AI system where admissions can be instant, and then director of admissions or director of academic affairs can just be viewing dashboard and seeing reject lists, and then he can work on the reject list whilst the system does the whole admissions for us? Can we look at finance, budget? Every year we draw budgets. Can we have an AI system that will propose or predict the next budget for a particular based on the resources available and the kind of student they have? Every discipline, when it comes to physical development, maintenance is an issue when it comes to the university. Can we have a plan of maintaining our various structures with the chatbots where notifications are sent? Every Sunday evening when it's 6 p.m., I receive a notification. I created an automation that ChatGPT to serve through the internet and give me a summary of all the preachings that were done in the day on Sunday. So in the evening, I just go there. Most of the time, I get a notification that my summary is ready. When I go, I see what Action preached, what this church preached, everybody what they preach. and then a summary of all what Ghana really talked about in their various churches. I also, no offering, I also have a chatbot as a prayer partner. If you check my phone, you will be seeing them. So when I'm seated with you, I have so many partners I'm dealing with. I get my prayer partner, I get my mentor. You can draft a whole promotion plan, when to write a new paper, when to attend a conference. As I was coming, I just gave a prompt, save the net, check conferences around Europe, and then draft an abstract for me. Please, it's on my laptop. If you want to challenge, after the session, we can look at it. Thank you very much for having me.
Linda, thank you very much for giving us understanding about what AI can do for us now. Please, we are not done yet. We are not done yet. Linda, we are grateful for what you have taught us this morning. I trust that we will do well to search more so that we can apply to what we do in our various offices. And as a man of God, the preaching there I can preach, but my interest is in the prophetic AI. So I'll see you for that. But that is where the cash is. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, time for us to listen to our brother, this time Jake Ziheford.
Hello. Mr. Chairman, the guest speaker, ladies and gentlemen, I want to borrow the protocols that our Honorable Chairman or President laid when we started the program. Good morning to all of us. This one. Great. Thank you very much. It's a privilege to be here to interact with you at this level. And I just want to go straight to the point of addressing the administrator's health and stakeholder engagement. And of course, when it comes to health, it's a big issue, but we just want to, in this discussion, move beyond individual wellness to address a core issue of organizational performance and sustainable leadership. We want to identify the fact that for whatever we do as administrators, as professionals, in whichever corner we find ourselves, one of the greatest tools and part of the body that we use, as if I have to borrow from the guest speaker's father's admonition, that you have to use your head. And that's what we do. Wherever we find ourselves, if the faculty up here doesn't really click, it's very likely that we'll be hitting the side of the drum instead of really on top of it. So as connectors in our various offices across the campus, across the nation, we find out that our operations involve very long hours of work. Sometimes we aren't able to predict or determine how these hours will be used. I know that for those of us who have been in the helm of decision making during the past 1 year or more, it's very likely most of us received calls at certain times of the night you really never expected to, and you really have to move after receiving such calls. We work taking decisions that involve individuals, that involve groups, that involve the whole organization, and we are under constant pressure to perform. You get up in the morning and let's assume you receive a call from the VC in my jurisdiction. They tell you that, oh, I'm in the hospital now, so maybe around 5:30 a.m. you receive a call and said, I'm in the hospital now, where are you? Most people will not expect me to be in the hospital. I'm sure he himself will not expect me. But by that call, it means you have to be there. So we operate under so much stress, which becomes chronic. The way we work, it's very likely you will not feel the stress building up. But when it gets to a tilting point, you begin to feel the effect because it will begin to break you down. Now, when it's breaking you down, some of the effects you see is a reduced cognitive function. Your memory appears to be leaving you. I know many of us have moved from one place, maybe from the back of our desks, from our chairs, we move to another place intending to pick an item. You get there and you just don't remember why you got there. It happened to you last week. Now you wake up in the morning, you are emotionally irritable. You are not stable at all. And you get to the workplace and you realize that 2 of your members of staff are engaged in some verbal exchange. You have to settle them. How are you going to do it? You just look at yourself and look at what is going on and you think that the civil war going on in you is even better. You know, and for all these, when these come together, they undermine our health. And the digestive system is the primary casualty. So today, whilst we talk about the administrator's health, we want to acknowledge that taking care of our digestive system is key to maintaining a strategic asset in the university, going beyond the individual health. Collectively, as administrators, our digestive health is very, very important. And for that, I think it's a very broad area. We just want to narrow down to something we call GERD. G-E-R-D. It's an acronym that stands for gastroesophageal reflux disease. I don't expect you to mention or to call it after me, but just to understand that there are some of the things that happen to us that sometimes we miss just because we are not paying attention to our digestive health. A friend of mine who is 53 years old now, about 3 years ago, I didn't hear from him, but some other friends who are connected told me that this guy, I call him Mr. Kyo, not the one you have been buying from pharmacies. But this Mr. Kyo had been admitted at the intensive care unit of a teaching hospital. When you hear that, one of the things that comes to mind is that there is a fault with the heart. And this guy was kept in there for about 2-3 days, for about 3 or 4 episodes within a month. When he was discharged, and I was chatting with him, trying to find out the kind of test he had done. He has spent so much money to get those test results, but they still couldn't find what was wrong with him. After about 2-3 months of buying medications here and there, I looked through and suggested 2 medications. I speak to you, he's traveled outside the country. He hasn't visited the intensive care unit since then. It's no magic, but it's happening in our homes, it's happening with us. But we are failing to identify and deal with it. An 8-year-old girl, a daughter of one of us, had also visited quite a number of facilities, having all sorts of tests, and he kept complaining, his tummy, her tummy, her tummy, her tummy, taking all sorts of medications. We spoke, and at the end of the chat, I was trying to pick some medications for her, and I came back to ask, when she goes to school, what drinks does she carry to school? So, any drink at all, but the fridge is stocked with all kinds of drinks. Say, list the drinks that are in the fridge. Say, malt, Coca-Cola, Fanta. You can list them. And she takes any of them anytime she feels like. She's an only child. So anything to make her happy. I said, from that day, you stop her from taking from that drink, from that fridge. And I called her, spoke to her. I gave her just 1 medication. And since August 2nd, I've not had any complaints to date. Now, what could be causing all this? This is part of our digestive system. So, at the top, you can see the jaw, or maybe the lower part, the lower half of the head, and you see the alimentary canal or the digestive canal going down into the stomach. Now, between what you can see as the ear and the stomach is called the esophagus. When your son comes back from home and says that my esophagus is paining me, the esophagus isn't here. It's actually here. And there is this rubber band-like structure that holds the tip of the stomach in place. It holds it closed such that if an object or food or water or anything goes in through the esophagus, it will open up and allow it in, but doesn't allow a reverse flow of the contents of the stomach. This is because the stomach is very acidic. The content is such that when it pours on your body, on your skin, it's very possible that you will have some irritations. But with the GERD that we're talking about, you have frequent heartburns, and they become very common. Once a while, you feel pain here after you've taken a meal, or in the night whilst you are sleeping, you feel chest pains. Some people carry this around and they buy medications, painkillers over the counter to soothe it, but that worsens it. So normal painkillers does not really resolve that issue of heartburn. Now, these are some of the physical, the effects of the heartburn, the GERD on individuals, especially for us as administrators. We experience sometimes painful arms in the night whilst we are sleeping. This is when the heartburn has become so frequent and the place is getting more sore. Some of us experience frequent regurgitation, and this kind of regurgitation is like you have finished eating and you feel the backflow of fluid in the mouth or sometimes in the throat. It tastes sour or can be bitter. The food you ate was fufu and it wasn't bitter, but it flows back and you get that taste. This is because, like I mentioned, the lower esophageal sphincter, that rubber band-like structure that holds the top of the stomach, is loose, so allows the backflow of the content of the stomach. Now, you also feel pain sometimes when you swallow, and it feels as if the food is stuck there. It's not going down. That's one sign of it. You aren't eating, you'll be there, but you feel like there is something lingering in there. You also, it's very possible that some of the coughs you have been experiencing, especially at night, could come out as a result of this GERD. You also, sometimes, we may not be worried because we don't sing, but for those of you who sing, perpetually you'll be experiencing some kind of hoarseness or croakiness in the voice. Those who are asthmatic could have asthma-like symptoms, even though it may not be coming from an asthma attack. And again, because of the backflow of the content of the stomach, some of us could have some dental erosions. So from time to time, you see that there is discoloring of the teeth. And this gives some kind of discomfort to the administrator, and it will affect your work wherever you find yourself. Sometimes you'll be scared because after a poor sleep in the night, you come to work and you are disturbed. There is a song that says that addresses an individual as a daytime friend and a nighttime lover. During the daytime, it's very likely you feel fatigued right from the moment that you stepped in the office. Some of us get in there and we forget that we are at work, we forget what we want to do. In the night, you don't sleep very well, and it affects the cognitive system. For those of us who experience very sharp and irritating physical discomfort, times when you are speaking like this, you are scared as to whether some of these things will come up. This Mr. Kill that I'm talking about, most of the time he had been carried to the intensive unit right from the office. He will be working and all of a sudden, hey, somebody help me, I'm dying. And everybody thought maybe he was having a heart attack. But eventually, it was this gastroesophageal reflux disease that was really happening. The complications. I'm happy the pictures are not so clear. I'm allergic to some of these pictures. But some of the complications of untreated GERD, you could have inflammation or bleeding or ulcers in the esophagus. It's very possible there's something we call Barrett's esophagus. And that one, the lining of the esophagus should be smoother than that of the stomach or the intestines, but you have some of these projections developing in the esophagus, and that could be precancerous changes and eventually could develop into cancer if it's not treated. How the administrator's lifestyle fuels GERD. Please, let's take notes. I am aware that there's going to be a washing. This is not to discourage anybody from washing effectively. But you have to take note that if some of these things, we take good care of them, it will help us become better and more effective administrators. Good. So most of the time at meetings, until recently, we were having a lot of business lunches. When we meet clients, we will have dinners and eat all sorts of things. But these are some of the key triggers. The quantity of food you consume at a go can determine whether you are a candidate for GERD or not. Some of us, by habit, will skip breakfast, will skip lunch, and we want to do everything at a go, maybe getting to the evening around 4 or 5 p.m. Say that, or you fast in order to be able to see visions and dreams. But you keep your breakfast, you keep your lunch, you keep your supper, just like we were doing when we were in school, and put them together and consume everything. Now, the moment we do that, the pressure in the tummy builds up and pushes it back up the esophagus. Some meal compositions, a lot of fatty meal can trigger GERD. Spices, both artificial and natural, none of them is left out. They all cause the same effect. Tomatoes, when it is too much in the food, it helps that muscle to relax, and then you have issues of reflux. Citrus fruits, caffeine, those of us who love tea and caffeine containing substances. Chocolate, yes, chocolate. Carbonated drinks, like I mentioned. When we say ROH, it means alcohol. So for those of us who consume a lot of alcohol, peppermint, they can trigger GERD. Our lifestyles, I mentioned that stress is undoing our health, and that can gradually sensitize the esophagus to acid. Late night eating. Those of us who work and return home at night, we still have to eat before we get to bed. But when you finish eating, make sure you stay awake, walk around, sit around, stay upright for not less than 2 hours. Yes. You eat that heavy meal and you go to bed straight away, you become a candidate for GERD. Smoking, obesity. Obesity increases the abdominal pressure and causes GERD. This obesity goes for both men and women. For men, we usually deal with the apple obesity. Our midsection is gross, and the women will usually go with the pear kind of obesity. Whichever type of obesity still works with it. In fact, someone managed to convince me many years ago that that is a sign of affluence. We still want to continue to hold on to that. Yes, then physical activity after a heavy meal. I will be very happy if we have a policy that discourages meetings and sitting and continuous working behind the desk after a heavy meal in the afternoon. Because when we take a heavy meal and we go back, the moment you sit to continue the meeting, that pressure begins to push up. So at the end of the day, we'll be losing that strategic asset. After a heavy meal, no strenuous activity, no bending, no sitting, no laying down. And then one thing, maybe some of us decide to avoid certain kinds of food, but there is a cultural hospitality among Ghanaians. When you visit anybody and they offer you anything, it is hard to say no. Both what you eat here and what you eat there. Some of us cannot help it much. These influence GERD. It fuels GERD as well, but our body types, we cannot do much about it. For instance, if you get pregnant, you will be a candidate. But what can you do? You just have to go through it, and when you land, you can take the corrective measures. Delay stomach emptying. Some naturally hold food in the stomach for a long time. Takes a long time for the food to discharge. Then those who have weak lower esophageal the muscle. And then some of us could have something we call hiatus hernia. Part of the stomach will bulge out and form another pocket and drop outside the diaphragm. That will make us prone to that. And those will need surgeries and others to correct it. For those of us who are taking medications, calcium channel blockers, what are they? For pressure management, hypertension management, amlodipine, nifedipine, all the pins, felodipine, and all those. When you take it for a long time, it begins to give you this kind of side effect. When you give that kind of feedback to your prescribing doctor, you can find a way around it. Those who take a lot of non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, painkillers that are not paracetamol, or that are not morphine, that are not tramadol, brufen, diclofenac, aceclofenac, and all those. That's why I said that beginning, you complain of chest pains and you think a painkiller should solve it, but it worsens it because it's not a normal pain people will have to go through. Theophylline, some sedatives, antidepressants have also triggered that. And then, of course, we've mentioned stress, anxiety, those who are asthma prone, diabetic, and others. How do we manage this? Whatever you feel, write it, connect. Identify and avoid the dietary triggers. Improve the eating habits. Don't eat one big bowl of fufu at a go and say you are done for the day. If it's possible, just cut it into smaller pieces, into sessions, morning session, afternoon session, evening session. Then we'll have to manage our weight. Some of us in our head, the head of the bed, you elevate the head of the bed by about 6 inches, 8 inches, so your bed will be like that. When you sleep, your head will be up, and then your legs will be down. Smoking cessation is also very, very important. Now, on the corporate line, Mr. Chairman, I just want to make this recommendation. Our catering services will have to look at what they give us from time to time. You'll have to give us GERD-friendly meals. Because if we feel we are young today and GERD is far away from us, like the examples I gave, 8-year-old is suffering, the 53-year-old is suffering, the 30-year-old is suffering. And yesterday, I spoke to a lady who I think is about 68 years and is also suffering from the same thing. So it cuts across. And then let's join in the screening education that is organized by the University Health Services. And then when making policies, let's see how best we can support the funding of wellness. Funding not only when we fall sick, but to also prevent this sickness from coming into our system. And if possible, the certain meetings, if it's possible, we have smaller committee sizes that we can have meetings walking rather than sitting. It can help. Maybe you start from the main administration, you hold a talk, about 3, 4, 5 people, you walk around with R, right through UPSHS, you go around, If that would take about 45 minutes, by the time you come back, you would have made about 2 or 3 strong decisions that will affect the running of the university. So these medicines can be used to treat, and most of the time we'll have to rely on the doctor's prescriptions to get them done. When lifestyle modification and medicines are not enough, we'll have procedures through surgery to restore the functioning of the digestive system. When to see the doctor? When you have the symptoms several times in a week. I know once a while, maybe once in a week, we may feel that kind of regurgitation. If once a week, no problem. But if it happens 2, 3, 4 times, then you know you are in trouble. When you use over-the-counter medications and it's still there, you still have to see the doctor. Unexplained difficulty in swallowing, unexplained weight loss. Sometimes some of us desire the weight loss, but you can't explain why you are losing weight. Don't just be happy, seek help. And when there is pain in the chest, especially when it radiates into the arm, into the jaw, it possibly can be a heart condition. So you have to report for the necessary investigations or scans to be done so that we are sure it is GERD and not any other thing that is associated with the heart. Anytime you feel that, please report immediately. So to conclude, health is a core component of effective leadership and institutional resilience. And ignoring digestive health, specifically GERD, has a direct and negative consequences on cognitive capacity of administrators, the emotional stability, and professional effectiveness. So we'll have to be very proactive in making sure that we don't suffer from the effects of GERD. That's what we have to do, manage our lifestyles very well, and design and implement some corporate wellness programs or initiatives, and then we use medical care appropriately. We need to play our roles as administrators to protect our most valuable asset, to safeguard our performance, to safeguard our credibility, and the health of this noble organization. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Joe. Please, let's do it for him. Joe, if you look at my size and this, am I obese? Am I suffering from GERD? Is it a sign of affluence or poverty? Ladies and gentlemen, he was saying tomatoes. We say tomatoes. And then you wrote peppermint. We don't say peppermint, say peppermint. No one fancy for tomatoes. It's peppermint. So, ladies and gentlemen, time for us to take some questions. We've listened to 2 of our discussants. They've told us a lot. If you have anything bothering your mind regarding what they told us, you have the opportunity now to ask your question, and I believe that they will give you the required answers. Even if you have a question from our main speaker, I believe that the opportunity is available to you now to ask your question. And Linda, the prophetic AI, that one has a question here. When we leave, I'll come. So please, if you have a question, you come to the front, you take the microphone, then you just mention your name and then ask your question, and I believe you get the right answer. So the floor is now open. You're taking the first 5, and then the rest will follow. Right, President tells me, say 5 per dictatorial tendencies. Is that stakeholder engagement friendly? And I want to tell you that we have in our midst Mr. Gorman from Tvucc, Christopher Christopher, SSAOG, correct, UCC local, Muslim Walai. Bye. And then we have the Vice President of Tvucc, Dr. Mrs. Dodu. So. Don't tell me you are good students. Don't tell me that all that you heard because you are sharp brains, you have questions. Yes, there is a hand and come. Right. Please let's listen to our friend. Right. So I believe that Ekusia Nura, one worker say no questions no. How often want to draw? Okay. Osofo.
This one goes to our guest speaker. Thank you very much, Doc, for that insightful presentation. Along the line, when we're speaking about stakeholder engagement, we are very aware that we have to, of how we go about it, that some, we don't inform the community, for instance, we don't inform the stakeholder and we're trying to implement a policy how that is facing assistance. What do you do when you have a stakeholder or you propose stakeholders who have what you call management selective perception? They wouldn't want to change them, have the preconceived mentality, and you want to carry out your vision as a leader or institution. How do you manage that? Thank you.
Right. Let's see.
Thank you very much. My goes to Dr. Kizi. So I want to, you've said that in the digestive system, the stomach has a lot of acid. I want to know, do animals also have the same thing? So ruminant animals. If so, would you say that it is good for us to continue eating the towels of ruminant animals? Thank you very much. Because it has so much acid in it.
So we take the last one.
I would like to know if the
Please
AI,
let's listen to our sister.
I would like to know if the AI she mentioned, the example of the various ones available. I know some are paid for and others are free. So I want to find out from her if both of them give the same quality of information.
So
Thank you very much. To Dr. Kizi Hayford, I want to know whether there's a relationship between GERD and hiccups. Thank you.
Right, so we now take the answers from the respective speakers.
Thank you very much. Growing up, my mom told me that anybody who something is likely important from you. So working with free things, AI is giving us too many good things that we are afraid of what it is from us. Currently, they have not been so much study in data privacy, where the very things we give to AI, what they use it for, we are afraid. We don't know what it is. So the link I even gave you with the categories available, you see premium, free, verified, even social media, Facebook, Twitter. When I'm dealing with a person, I want to see if the account is verified. Okay, so when you go to the link I gave you, you can see the verified AI tools. So to be on the safer side, let's go with the verified, and most of the times, the verified are paid and they come with free trials. So for instance, what I've used this week, I just used the free trials. want, I just pick a student, please do this work for me, use this site, and the student still use the free trials. So I've been using free trials with mine. So it depends. Okay, now when it comes to, yes, ethics, I'm told the university is actually building a whole AI policy for us, because we in the academics, even students these days, and even when there are discussions on certain platforms, I pick notices, information from certain organizations and bodies within the university, and just by reading them, I know that this AI generated. They just pick the framework, but the university is now having a policy as to what extent of AI material can we have. But then if you are doing much of the automations, you really, bypass some of these things. So for ethics, I would advise that pick it as a framework. Whatever it gives you, don't rely on the statistics like the guest speaker said. Move more, find out more about the statistics, because it can really give you certain fake news as well. But then with the automations, you are not likely to face those things. So just pick it as a framework. The guy say he can do everything, he can do anything. Let's not really look at just using it to solve academic work or assignments and all that. Move to other economic issues where we can find out how to build or how to create deodorant for ourselves, how to create toothpaste for ourselves, how to create the spectacles. Because the guy say he can do everything and anything. So look for DIY projects and let's not really concentrate.
Thank you. Please, I believe that our discussants are also hungry. So please, discussants, your answers, please make it long.
Right, thank you very much. I don't know how to answer that stressor question. But as administrators, I know that we are free from work only when we are on leave. But as long as... Oh, okay. So HR can. Because I understand that I'm on duty 24/7, except that I can take a break at one point or the other and come back to continue. So when I'm sleeping and everything has been taken off and my boss calls me, when necessary, I'll have to respond. The other issue has got to do with the towel of animals. Towel of animals is protein. Now, the towel of the human being, even though I haven't seen some, is also protein. But what the towel encloses is the acidic content. Because when food drops in there, the body secretes those acidic substances and enzymes to be able to digest it. So it's the content, not the wall or the protein itself, that is acidic. Hiccups and GERD, they are different things. Hiccups come about when the thoracic cage, the upper part of the body which encloses the chest. The lower part is bordered by the diaphragm. When you have the pressure in there changing, or maybe sometimes you have the components, the gaseous components, oxygen versus carbon dioxide, fluctuating, then you have that kind of hiccups developing. Now, it develops because the mind or the brain responds to the changes that are taking place there. And then those kind of movements up and down together with the flapping of the glottis, it gives that kind of, and which is very different from the GERD. The GERD basically is the structural sphincter that is defective or allowing the backflow of the stomach contents. So they are very, very different and they have to be treated. The treatment for them is approached differently. I hope that answers the question. Thank you very much.
Right.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm happy that the question actually answers itself. we work from the known to the unknown. The solution is that you know that they already have preconceived ideas and are selective in the things they want to agree. So we work with what we think they like, what works for them, because if once you know what they are preconceived about, then you are there. So we manage them from that level. We know that they are inclined towards this, and so we work from that assumption, that base, until we get to the difficult part where we want to now introduce a new thing to them. So it's like forming a team. You group, you norm, you bind, and then you start the implementation, or it's like just the change process. So we start from the known. If we are able to gather the things that they are coming in with, what impression do they have about the appointment and promotion criteria, or the number of years for a VC, the rollover, you know their stand already, especially if they are government appointees. I'm sorry, I didn't want to mention that. You know what, you already know what their mind is about that. So sometimes it has to do with the framework. So before they are people of influence, they have unique expectations. That's what I mean by it. So find out before they come. Is you if you were the secretary is registrar, but you are a recorder, you work with the registrar, you will find out what each individual person stands for, what they are looking for, their expectation. And then we determine, it's a strategy to determine how we handle them. If before council meetings, we would like to lobby Osimesi because we know that she's pro this. So we find out her thinking about this area. So before we come into the environment where this discussion is taking place, we know. And then we can structure our conversation or the proposals we have. We structure it in a way that they will find reasonable or are willing to come to the middle point at some point. So the solution is there. The fact that you already know they are preconceived, strike one, we are there. Strike two is, how do I package my engagement session with them? Some people, they can't come into the meeting before you are saying, oh boss, we want to talk about. They want you to drive to their office in Accra. Let them feel that they are very important to the key decision. Like the Ensabe before meeting Kakra. You see, oh Gideon, I did my father's and actually put them in that position of importance, that your decision matters to us. How do we handle? That's just but one example. I'm using the council for just but one example for that. So it's good to always know who you are dealing with, and then define. That's what we also mean by the framework. If these people, this group of people, how do I handle them? This is the framework for which I'm going to deal with them. We will find time to have prior engagement with them, hear them, and then maybe sell our idea to them before to the meeting. The important thing is that you don't say these people, this is their mind. You close the chapter. You never do that, because they are the ones who will really give you help. So it's good. You need to find out what they are thinking, what they are preconceived, what they are likely to be compromising on, and we work from that angle. There's never leaving it to chance and saying that these people, I can't do anything. Like before the computers, they don't know the computers, so let me just continue to give them paper to work with. At some point in time, they will have to fall into line. So it's very important that we don't assume that because they are preconceived, we leave them. We need to look for a framework and a strategy to engage them. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I believe that we've sat for a long time, listened to a lot of talk. It's time now for us to take a snake break. After the snake break, we come back, and then we come. Hey, sorry. Linda, please create an AI spectacle for me so I can read well. We come back from the snack break, and then continue with the other sessions. Mr. Solomon Jesse, and then our sister Araba will also take us through the next section. We take some questions, and then the chairman will give us his closing remarks, and then Osofo IPK Tvucc will pray for us, and then straight to Unicat we go for washing. So ladies and gentlemen, with the permission of the chairman, we go for the snake break. Thank you very much.